Hello, everybody. It's me, Lady Hell, and I'm so excited that you guys are doing this series of the projects with the Texas teacher with us. And here we go. We knocked out project one, knocked out project two. Now it's time to go to project three. All right. As y'all all know, I am a wife of one, mother of four, and I have three dogs. So obviously, sometimes when I'm recording, you will hear them, see them in the background. So don't you judge me. I'll pull out my videos and the major cameras and all that and make it look all fancy and pretty. But what's really important is really not necessarily the quality of the video. The quality, as long as you can hear me and we're able to see, I think we're able to do what we need to do for the purpose of this particular project. And later on, I'll come through. Can't make this up and make them fancy and stuff. So anyway, project number three. So project number three, number four, and number five are actually going to use the same lesson plan. So the first one using number three, that's the one you're going to be really doing from scratch. The rest you're going to build each lesson plan is going to build upon each other. Okay, so the first time, you're going to have to write out the lesson plans. Sis, brother, just get ready to write out them lesson plans. All right, but the rest of it, 4 and 5, is basically copy and paste from what you previously had, and you're going to build upon that because the questions are going to be different and what you do in the lesson plan is going to be different, so you can modify accordingly. And then of course the questions at the end are going to be different. I'm also going to introduce you to another tool. All right, so these are tools, these are study tools and things of that nature that could actually help you not only just with your projects here in Texas Teachers, but also in your studies and research as well. As you know, one of my very strong suits is actually doing academic research, okay, but also writing and avoiding plagiarism and different things like that. Okay, so in the last video I did introduce you to Google Scholar, so you do have that in your arsenal. It's absolutely free, you don't have to pay for that. Now this other tool that I'm about to introduce you to is actually a paid tool, but it's $9 a month. It does grammar and it also checks for plagiarism and the same thing like Turnitin and all those things used. And you just want everything to, kind of be under that 50% mark. So like some of the questions it's going to come up because it's on different things on the internet or whatever. But I guess I'll kind of show you I'll show you the tool and you can use the tool. Remember, you always want to have tools in your toolbox. But let's go to the screen and I'll share with you in the link below a link to my Google Drive, and you're able to see that you can use it as a guide to do assignment number 3. All right, so let's go in here. Let's go into our dashboard. So we go to start our project. Right, when we go to start our project, it say this lesson the candidate must write learning objective using the TEKS. So TEKS is available to every teacher. And remember, of course, all of our assignments, all of our things are aligned to the TEKS that has the state standard, and we modify according to our kids, right? According to how they learn. All right. So anyway, it say to begin the lesson, the candidate must write a learning objective using the TEKS in the content area and describe an assessment. Okay, remember we have 4 different type of assessment. We have informal assessment, formal assessments, stuff like that. And it says that it's aligned with both learning objective and the state standard. This is really easy to do. Sounds like a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo, but it's actually very easy to do. Okay, and it say additionally, candidates must demonstrate how to describe. Okay, so that means you got to describe the learning objective and the performance measure to students the objective statement. Tell students why it's important for them to know the material. Candidates must also identify prior learning or background knowledge. Remember, we access prior knowledge. So if you use prior knowledge, that's a way to scaffold or to build upon what your students already know. that students must know in order to successfully meet the learning objectives for the lesson. You will write 2 plans for this lesson. You'll receive 2 grades in the project, 1 for each plan or submission. And then, it gives you these, and it's like, okay, allow these days, right? Okay, and it gives you this. The cool thing as well, look, they give you a template, okay? They also y'all get the dogs. They also give you the TEKS by subject area. There's a sample project and a rubric that they're going to use. And if you click on each, it'll tell you, what you're going to do. So you need to be doing your grade level accordingly. So if you're doing kindergarten, then you need to do the area that you're doing. If you're doing middle school, math, English, whatever, I'm doing SPED. And so it wasn't like a lot of stuff for SPED, but I'm doing EC through 12. So I can pick early childhood through 12, right? And actually I use different ones and not realizing I was supposed to copy and paste, but whatever. And you'll see that in what I do or whatever. But this one just has you write 2 different lesson plans, okay? But it is, if you're seeking certification in the core subjects, EC through 6, okay? All other content must write a lesson plan along with the certification area. So whatever certification area you're going to be using, and as you see, they tell you, hey, it's going to be used in this and this, which it is, okay? So when you go to next or whatever, this is where you put in submissions 1 right here. And then, of course, they'll leave you a comment. All right. And it says, this is great start. Lesson plan is clear. You put forth more thought, effort. They like, hey, girl, you did that, girl. I'm like, okay, girl, I sure did. Didn't I? So let me go into my Google account and just, I'll share the submission with you as well. So this is part 1 that I did. Okay. All right, it's loading the document. All right, and then let me make sure that I have this set to share so you guys will do that. So obviously I put my name, I'll add my the certification area. Let me make this viewable. Okay, anyone with a link can access it. Let me put this in the notes so when I upload this video, I definitely have the link available for you guys, so you can just literally use it as a template. Right? 3. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. Sorry, remember to share. There you go. We love Google Drive. All right, so as you see, I put the content area that I was using was ELA, and then I put my, what I'm doing, whatever. Okay, so today I was doing 9th grade, and it was 5A because I used the TEKS. And if you go back over here, let's go back. You're gonna see where it has the TEKS. TEKS online as well. And so if you click on here, it's going to give you the TEKS by subject area, and it goes to this accordingly. And you can view it through the web or the PDF. So I decided to do English Language Arts. I went to the web, subchapter C. I clicked on high school. Once I did English 1, right? And here we go. Right, so you have I think it's 5 something. Let me see, what did I choose? 5. Let's go back. 5A. All right, so I did 5, which is right here, the response, listening, reading, and writing, blah blah blah. A, describe for personal connection to a variety of sources, including self-selected text. So this is 5, and this is 5A, 5.A. That's where I found this at. Okay, so you can pick the grade or whatever, line it up to the TEKS. The TEKS are available. That's public information, so it's available to you. Trust me, you're gonna be using this. But the cool thing about when you go into the classroom, a lot of this stuff is done for you. When I say done for you, like most of you will work in teams with people, unless you just go into a school that don't. But you're gonna be working in a team. Right? And if you ever heard the expression, if it ain't broke, don't. If it ain't broke, Now, if it's broken, you need to fix it. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep using it. It's successful. So you don't want to rewrite the wheel that's already written for you. This has been the same code. Obviously, this one right here was adopted in 2017. So the last time that this was changed was in 2017. Okay, so it'll have this in every school in Texas. Use this code accordingly to plan instructions, right? So anyway, here we go. I use the TEKS, right? So on the performance measure, it says after the lesson, how would the performance measure say? After the lesson, how would you know if they've learned the content? How will you know if they have learned the content to the level of rigor required? How will you measure their performance? All right. So I basically answered the question. The student will write responses with sentence stem provided by the teacher that describe their connection to the assigned text given by the teacher. The student will select the chapter of their interest, then to them before presenting to the class. Then I put the student must explain because now we're using those higher order thinking skills, right? So they must explain what personal connection made them choose that chapter. So they're recalling information of their personal lives and they're synthesizing this information, which is allowing them to do that. You see what I mean? So you're going to end up kind of using Maslow's higher order of thinking when you do this right here. And you like, oh girl, I forgot what's Maslow's higher order of thinking. Just go to images.google.com and just Maslow. I mean, not Maslow's. Not Bloom. Is it not Maslow? Hierarchy of needs. Wrong. Hold on. Who is that? I got Maslow and Bloom's taxonomy. I apologize. It's Bloom. Okay. So here you go with Bloom. Print it out, whatever. So remember the bottom three, these are lower level skills. The top three, these are higher level skills. All right. So if it's remembering, explaining, use information, demonstrate new concepts, these are kind of lower level. But when you draw connections between ideas, experiment, and ask questions, now you're getting into higher order type of thinking. Okay. So when you are creating those lesson plans, make sure you understand the difference between the higher order thinking and also lower order thinking. Okay. And again, by me being in the class, like if I hadn't went into the classroom before, I wouldn't have known this. Okay. Like I wouldn't have known this at all. But however, being actually in the classroom, because in my situation, like I had worked my intern year and then I didn't finish my projects, and then I took a year off, and so now I have to come back and finish the projects so I can go ahead and get my standard certificate. But anyway, so that's why I'm really kind of using this as a guide, so you don't have to go around the mulberry bush trying to figure all this stuff out, but to really have this as a guide for you to understand. But these three, lower order, these three, higher order, right? And you're always gonna use your Bloom. So maybe go on Amazon and buy a poster. Posters cost like $4, and in most of your schools they'll probably give it to you for free. Laminate it, hang it somewhere, right? Because this right here is it's gonna help you. All right. So let's go back to this. All right. So all throughout this, you're gonna use Bloom. I keep saying Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but Bloom's is the higher order of thinking, how we think, right? So anyway, I got this stuff right here. Now it's gonna say learning objective. This one says copy the TEKS. It is telling you what to do. Like if it don't ask you to do it, don't do it. If it's telling you what to do, that's what you're going to do. So it says copy the TEKS word for word, beginning with the student is expected to. It's telling you how to put this together. And the text of the student expectation. Then end your learning objective by stating your performance measure. Okay? So I put the student is expected to describe personal connections to a chapter of choice in a book assigned by the teacher by completing sentence stems and responding to challenging source that is read, heard, or supposed to be viewed. Lord, explaining why they select the chapter in 5 sentences that demonstrate the text, title, author, topic, genre, and reason for their selection. Right? So, of course, we're still including those higher order skill thinking. We're putting the tics in place, and we're providing a measure of measurement. All right? And then, so this basically right here, this is saying, this is what the teacher says to the students. So now you're going to go into more, can y'all please stop? You're going to, when you're doing your objective statement, this is what you're going to say to your students. This is what you would say to your students. So it's, in a sense, it's almost like writing a play, right? And this is just hypothetical. So this is your hypothetical world, and you make this world how you want to. So this says, this is what the teacher would say to the students about what the students will learn today, how they would show they have learned the content. That is the performance measure. Okay, so I like to call my students scholars, right? Because I tell my students all the time, you're scholars. You are scholars. When you come into this academia setting, you are a scholar, right? I don't care if you're special education gifted and talented, whatever. You're a scholar. So this is how I talk to my students. You might put students. We're going to do that. Scholars. And depending on the level, some people start off with friend. All right, friends. When you're in kindergarten, early education, kindergarten, friends. Today we're gonna or whatever. So students, scholars, whatever you do, it's your play. Okay, so I started off by saying, scholars, today we will learn how to respond to a text that we read. This skill can apply to any text that you read in life. From our current reading that we just read, you will choose the chapter of your choice and write 5 sentences that explain what the chapter is about and what type of personal connection you have with that chapter. You will also present these findings to your classmates. You will read your sentences to the class. By the end of the class period, I have given you a rubric, which once you come to the front of the class, I will take from you. You will receive your rubric back after I have scored it. Right? So this is the statement that I would state to my scholars. I would tell them what they're doing. I tell them how they're going to be measured, all that good stuff like that. Okay, so the purpose of learning, it says, why do students need to learn this today? This should be written in what you would say to your students and should address both why it is important to the content area, knowledge, and skill statement, and why it's relevant to their lives. Okay, and that's what I did. I went through. I put, this is a skill that students will be able to take from grade to grade during their educational career by learning how to make personal connections with what you are reading, helps students to understand stories and narrative. And then I brought it to reality, and I said most students are exposed to storytelling, because that's what it is. Storytelling through social media platforms like TikTok, Snapchat, which are all small form storytelling platforms. The skill learned today will train a student to improve the way that they hear and read stories. It takes less than 60 seconds in our current society to make a personal connection. Right? Sounds good. Explicit connection to prior learning. Right? So I did all this, all this stuff, and this is what you'll say to students about what they've already learned, etc. So you do this for both of your plans. So you'll have one plan for whatever area, and then you're gonna have another plan, and you're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna link to you to my submission 1. Submission 2 is literally the same thing. It's just a different lesson plan, and I'll briefly show you lesson plan number 2. I was like, I don't know if y'all want to see all that, but I'll show it to you. Okay, so lesson plan number 2 I did was English. All right. Oh, I did another ELA one, and I did 8. Yeah, 8B is what I did. Okay, so and again I filled it out the same way. All right, once I had my 2 different ELA plans, I submitted it, and of course they graded it, and y'all see the lady was like, oh my god, you put a lot of thought into this, bluesy blue, right? And that's pretty much how you do lesson 3. So tomorrow, because I done did 1, 2, and 3 today, so tomorrow I'll come back and I will do 4. But I'll put a link to my part 1 and everything. And again, in part 2, as you see, I did the same thing. I just chose a different teaks, and as I did a different teaks, I filled out. So the first 2 lesson plans, they're gonna be the same. All right, and as you see, when we get to lesson, oh yeah, this is 3. When we get to number 4, we help me, Holy Spirit, what I said. When we get to number 4, you're going to be adding on this. But I actually switched my number 4, where I did one, I did English, and then the other one I did like history or something. I did 2 different things, so I can actually show them that I can go between different content areas. When I taught elementary, I taught a lot of ELA, and I like ELA, it's cool. However, I like history and science. That's like my favorite. So I like to kind of go between the content, the actual content area. And that's what I love about special education, because we're able to, but primarily when you're in special education, and you'll be doing, a lot of people will be doing like either like life skills, FA, stuff like that, or you'll be doing more of co-teaching, inclusion, things of that nature. And a lot of times on the elementary level, you will need to be certified in the the general content area. This year I'm going to be doing middle school, so it's going to be different, and I can't wait to learn how that part works in middle school. So I'm excited about this, guys. So I look forward to hearing your success. So once you've done it, be sure to come back and tell me what was it, or maybe you're kind of lost, or you like, girl, I don't know how to read them teaks and all of that, right? I said I was gonna show y'all this other thing. Like I said, I used to use this in what's it called, so it'll test your all that. So it's check, oh my god, it's called Easy Bibliography. So you can use this Easy Bib to do your citations and all that. And at first, this just used to be the whole like, I don't know if y'all ever heard of Sonnet Citation, where you would go and you would cite your papers and all that. So you have citation, right? And then you can create a citation list. You can create the style, and then you would put like the books and all of that stuff like that. So I'm just gonna put sample, and I know we use APA, right? And yeah, save. All right, and then I would go. You could like create your citation. So if I had a website, on higher order thinking or whatever, and I had, let's say, just say this website, right? Well, when you go into check or whatever, and you put like the website in, it would cite it for you, right? And then I would be like cite. Okay, and then it will ask me everything that I needed in there, and I would complete the citation. And then I could just, whatever I'm looking up, I could put all my stuff in there. Then I can export the whole reference sheet, and everything will be cited. Okay, then they added this. Okay, but this is premium stuff, and it does cost $10 or whatever. And so you could put your paper in there, and I'll just use the last paper that I just did, just for an example to show you guys. So go to Texas Teachers, project number 6, I think it's, is it this? Oh, no. Okay, this is the last one. All right, and so it'll take my paper in, and once it do my paper, it's gonna do like a grammar check. It's gonna do all of that stuff like that, right? So it'll check for grammar, this, that, and the third. You know, it might say, "Hey, this don't sound right," or something like that. It's literally almost like Grammarly, but it's less expensive than Grammarly. It's only $10 because Grammarly is like $30. And then you can also, if you want an expert to check it, you know, you can pay for that service if you want. So if I check my paper for plagiarism to make sure, hey, if I use this, I need to make sure I'm citing this correctly. I need to make sure I'm doing this or whatever. You can also check for plagiarism. Okay, this is very similar to, you know, to Turnitin and all that. And because, you know, you're using a template, there's going to be a level of plagiarism there. I mean, well, that it detects because everybody is using the same type of template. And so some people load theirs up. So it's like, you know, well, 20, but most of this stuff is, you know, obviously the source, and I have everything down here quoted. You know what I'm saying? So I have my works cited, my works cited, and all that stuff for that, right? So you can tell this is very original, what I was doing. So it goes through, it checks your plagiarism, because some people don't realize they plagiarize them and all that stuff like that. But this is I just wanted to show you guys that, because this service is absolutely, when I tell you absolutely amazing, it is absolutely amazing, and I didn't mean for this to go on this long. So I'm actually done. So this is project number 3. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll either do it tomorrow or Monday, and I'll come with 4, 5. I'll do them separately, 4, 5, and 6 or whatever. I'm just waiting for 5 and 6 to be. I think part of my number 5 is done, but I'm waiting for that to be graded, and I'll come through and share with you. So I hope this has helped you guys. I know this was a little longer, but I think that sometimes when you have the guided way, because I can be like, do this, do that, but sometimes it's like, you know, just refreshing our memory is just using those college skills that we all have, right? Using those skills, using our research skills, and also just remembering your tools that's available. Your tools that's available to you, because you don't necessarily have to be in school to use the tools, but they are there to help you. Okay, so hope that helps. All right, God bless.